Happy 4th of July, wherever you guys are at. Although by the time this gets uploaded, it'll probably already be the 5th of July, but nonetheless, it is the evening of July 4th where I'm at right now as I'm making this video, and people are probably starting to light off some fireworks. They're celebrating with their friends and family. And yeah, I could go into this whole spiel about blah blah blah, but no, it is time to give you guys an update on my internship, because after all, this is the gateway to the good life. And I know I haven't really touched really in depth about my internship, but I figured now is a good time, and it gives me a good opportunity to kind of practice what I'm doing, and so that way I can kind of show you guys exactly it is what I'm doing. So with that being said, as you can see here, I've got open what looks like a typical spreadsheet, and yes, it is a spreadsheet software. I'm using what's called a smart sheet, and there's a whole lot of features that go into this program. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys specifically what I've been focusing on, and that is creating dashboards through reports and like aggregating data. So what I've gotten here is I created like a list of a bunch of different hikes. So I've got the hike name, the season. Now that's, based on my experience when I figured the best time of the year to do it is. So like for instance, Kendall Catwalk, the best time of the year to do that would probably be in the fall. Dirty Harry's Peak would probably be in the summer. I've got the vertical gain, and then difficulty, round trip distance, distance category, gradient. So now the gradient is meaning like from the trailhead on up to the peak, not the whole route, but just to the peak. So that's the average gradient, and then of course I got the highest point, and then the rating. And this might be better for a different video, but obviously to come up with this difficulty and all these different symbols, I had to use some formulas. And yes, that is part of what I'm doing. Actually, it's a lot of what I'm doing is creating formulas, and you can see it here. I'm not going to go into too much detail. And really, the most challenging thing about the formulas is the syntax, because it's like the logic in itself pretty straightforward. I mean, with doing SQL and programming, understanding the logic, that's the easy part. It's just getting a feel for the syntax. But nonetheless, I will eventually figure it out to where it will become second nature. So you guys are wondering what it is I am doing. Well, I am doing what is called creating a dashboard. So if I go here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, first of all, I'm going to create a report. And I've already got one created here, but I figure I'm going to create one from scratch. So what I do is I click on report, and I can name it. I'm going to name it, let's see, let's do hiking, let's see, hiking season. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to do hiking season. So let's do that. And so once again, guys, this is going to be a bunch of trial and error, because this is going to be my third week of doing this. So I'm not exactly a seasoned veteran at this stuff yet. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a row report, and you've got the other option here, which is a sheet summary report. And once again, that's going to probably be a topic for a different video. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So I've got hiking season here. All right, so I'm going to click on that, and of course I'm going to click on this hike names. That's the name of the sheet that you guys saw that was kind of describing all the different column names. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. So now the columns I'm really interested in are the seasons. So you got to figure for, let's say, like the summertime. Let's say someone's coming to the state of Washington, and they're going to be here visiting over the summer. They want to figure out how many different easy hikes are there? How many intermediate hikes are there? How many advanced hikes are there? What is the average elevation gain? So let's do one thing at a time here. So in this report, I'm just going to be focusing on the number of hikes by category: easy, intermediate, advanced. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of this sheet name. I don't need that. So I'm going to pick the season, and then I'm going to pick the difficulty. There we go. I'm going to hit next. I'm not going to worry too much about this because I'm not really worried about filtering my criteria, but in the work I'm doing, there is a lot of filtering going on, but there's really nothing to filter here. So I'm just going to go ahead and X out of that. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to group by the season. And I'm trying to figure out how many different beginner hikes there are, how many different intermediate hikes, and how many different advanced hikes there are for like the summertime. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to group by the season. And I'm going to hit OK. And then what I can do is I can summarize by the difficulty. And I'm going to do the count. And so there you have it. Obviously, there's a total of 30 hikes. And so we're going to scroll on down here to the summertime. And so obviously this is not too clear. So what I got to do here, so you're probably wondering, well, this is just saying that there's 11 hikes total that are good for the summertime. But it's not really grouped into like categories. So what I've got to do here is I've got to come back to my grouping, and I'm going to group by another column. I'm going to group by difficulty. So I'm going to come down here, and once again, this is trial and error, and I'm going to come down here and see. Let's see what happens now. All right, there we go. That's looking a lot better. So we come down here to the summer. So now, if someone's flying in from wherever they're coming from, you know, from any part of the world, and they're coming to visit Seattle, and they're looking for an easy hike, well, I mean, obviously there's more than 2 easy hikes, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So in terms of difficulty, easy, you know, on a difficulty scale, easy hikes, there's a count of 2. For intermediate, there are 7 hikes, and for advanced, there's 2 hikes. So if you add them all up together, 2, 7, and 2, you get 11 hikes. Okay, well, this is nice, but wouldn't it be nice to actually see this in a graph that's like kind of easy to read? Well, that's what I'm going to be creating next. And so I'm going to come here, back to my workspace, and now I'm going to be creating the dashboard. All right, so I'm going to be making, I'm going to call it, let's see, hiking. I'm going to, let's say, what's a good name? Hiking information, sound, let's see. I'm going to say finding your, I'm going to say picking your ideal hike. All right, finding your ideal hike. All right, so I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this. And so it's a blank dashboard. So there are what are called widgets. And there's a bunch of different widgets here. You've got a metric widget, chart, shortcut, report, title, rich text, image. I mean, there's a lot. So first thing I'm going to do is to kind of make it nice and tidy is I'm going to just start off nice and simple, a title. So I'm just going to type my title here. I'm going to be hiking. Let's see, I'm going to do to see a category by season. I'm sure there's a better name, but you get the idea. And so I'm gonna, to make this look neat, let's see what goes with nature. Green and white. Let's do a background. I'm gonna do a background color of green, and I'm gonna, let's see, how does that look? Black. Now let's do white. I'm gonna do white. I want my text to be white. I gotta highlight it. So I can do white text. Actually, no, let's make it really interesting. Let's keep it white. There we go. And I'm gonna change the font to Tahoma. So now I'm gonna stretch this all across. I mean, there's all different ways you can do that. Too much. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. So there's kind of like my overall title. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back to the edit, and I'm going to add another widget. And this time I'm going to be adding a chart. And this is what I've been doing a lot of, is adding these charts. So I'm going to add my data. And so I'm going to look back to that report I made, hiking seasons. All right, so I come back there. And like I said, hopefully this works, but let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. All right, voila. So there you have it. So now I can tie it up, because that's another thing you want to do, is you want to make it look nice and presentable. So let's see, you can play around with it. Difficulty, don't really want that. So usually the first thing I do is I get rid of the legend. I don't really care about the legend. So let's go ahead and no legend. And then the series, I'm going to go ahead and hit series. And what that does is it actually lists the number of hikes. So you got for fall, spring, summer is 11, and summer is 11 hikes, and then winter is 7. So now let's see what I can do here. So it did. So what's missing here is it's not really further aggregating that okay in the fall there's 7 hikes, in the summer yes there's 11 hikes, but it's not dividing them into like easy, intermediate, advanced. And yes, this is actually just a little bit more tricky than what I've done recently, but why not? This is a good, there's no time like the present to see if I can figure this out. Okay, and if not, at least I'm kind of giving you guys a good idea of what I've been doing, and this is good practice. So I'm gonna come back up here. Let's see, I'm gonna chart type. I'm gonna see. So sometimes it's just a matter of playing. Okay, so that's kind of neat. I can make it different colors. Okay, so difficulty and all columns. Nope. So let's see. Maybe let's see. So, then there's let's see, I could do a stacked column. Nope, that's not doing anything. Let's see, if I do series, if I do a line, no, so column, stack column, bar, nope, that's not going to do much. So let's see, stat column, nope. All right, so if I come back to stack column, vertical axis, difficulty, so let's try this. Nope. Okay, so sometimes and believe me, this happens quite a bit because I'm new at this. So what I do now is, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So what I do now is I go back to my report and I might try to switch some things around. So I got my summary. And this is something I spent quite a few hours on, and what I was actually working on for the main project that I'm working on for my internship. And believe me, I tried all different kinds of things, even looking at, Googling it, looking through like the tutorials, and what's just a matter of just, you just have to kind of like play around and just try different scenarios. So I'm going to add another column, and I am going to add the season. And once again, I'm going to add the count. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my report. So if I go back here, I got to make sure it's saved. Okay, I'm going to go back. I got to make sure it's saved. Okay, it automatically saved. So I'm going to go back to my my dashboard. Okay, so let's see if I can edit this. All right, let's go back to my chart. Oh, no, I don't want to add a chart, so let's go ahead and delete that. I don't want that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and edit that. All right, so let's try, okay, nope, that's not it. No, that's definitely not it. That's not it. Okay, so if I come back here, alright, season, okay, getting close, I'm getting closer. Okay, so I want season and difficulty. Okay, so, but something's not right here, and like I said, this is actually, I'm not, if I can't completely figure it out, I don't want to make this video too drawn out, but this is part of like the challenge of it, and after all, it is a learning experience because this is something I've never used prior to this internship, and it's really cool. It's got a lot of features, way too many to cover in this video alone. So let's see. I'm gonna come back here. If I go back to my, see what happens if I add my legend. Nope, that's not gonna do it. Okay, so I can get rid of. I'm gonna get rid of my legend. So no legend, and I'm gonna go back to my chart type. I'm gonna try a different chart type. Let's try to stacked. Okay, so that didn't really help much. Okay, so I'm just going back to column, and I'm gonna, okay, so Yeah, so obviously you can see that this is difficulty. Can't really do much about that. So let's see. So now it's kind of like primary difficulty. All right, so season. No, that's not gonna do. It's not doing me any good. All right, so to avoid really, drawing out this video too long, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save, and I'm gonna come back here, and so I'm gonna come back to my report here. Okay, so let's see. I've got two groups and two summaries. Let's see. Let's see. Sometimes what and so this is what happened to me last week, and so it was. I just had to do something as simple as switching it around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch to difficult. I'm going to put the difficulty up here and the season down here. So let's try that. So I'm going to put difficulty first. So I'm going to put difficulty, and now I'm going to put the season down here. And like I said, this is a bunch of trial and error. And once you get good at it, then you're gonna be like, okay, this is what I gotta do. Like say after I've been doing this like for a month or a couple months, this will become second nature. But right now I'm in the learning process. And see, that's the fun about it. I mean, I don't know how long this video's been going on, but it's like the time just ticks by. I mean, it's just like it's insane how it's like, can I even consider this work? And that's something I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about. Is this doesn't really feel like work? So let's go ahead and okay. So let's try that. So I'm gonna go back to my dashboard. It's like okay. So doesn't look like much has happened because if I go ahead and click edit, and I'm gonna go ahead and edit this. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's do all columns. Okay, so that's not really that's not really helping me much. Because now, yeah, see now this is not really helping me at all. So, all right, so let's go ahead and, okay, so now you're probably like, what, yeah, what's going on here? But this is the challenge. I mean, so really what I want to do is I want to do season and difficulty. Okay, but we don't know what is what. So that doesn't really do us any favors. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come back and I'm going to go back to my report and I'm just going to, for now, I'm just going to go back to my hiking season. Save it. I'm just going back to my hiking season. I'm going to let's see, how do I want to do it? Let's just get rid of let's get rid of that for now. Let's get rid of that. Okay, come back to my, okay, so now I'm just going to see if I can fix this. I'm just going to try to make it somewhat presentable. So, no, come on, let's go back. Don't want that. I'm going to come back here and see this. All right, so come back. I want to edit that. Okay, so that's what happened here. Nope. Okay, so I pretty much, made a good sized error here. But so what I want to do is I want to at least just get it back to where I had at least the four different seasons to kind of all the different, the total number of hikes for each season. So I just want to get back to that, and then I'll move on to kind of discussing my first demo day, which was exactly what I'm doing right now is presenting a dashboard. So let me go ahead and see if I can go back to my report here. I'm going to add back my summary difficulty count, and let's go back to my dashboard. Still only 3 bar graphs. Okay. All right. Okay. Edit. Yes, I'm gonna edit that. Okay. Okay. Not. Okay. Let's go. Okay. I'm not gonna give up on this. I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna just have it. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my hiking season here. I'm gonna go back to my group. I'm gonna switch this back around. So I'm gonna put it by. I'm gonna group it by season, and then I'm gonna group it by difficulty, and group it by difficulty. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see. I've got my different summary. Let's get rid of this extra summary. I just want to get it back to where it looks at least somewhat presentable. Come back here. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Okay, so now I'm going to come back here. I'm going to edit. I'm going to edit it. Let's see. And I just want to have at least my... There we go. There we go. And then I can put my legend. Now this is going to be where it's good to have a legend. I'm going to put it at the bottom here. And there you have it. Okay, so didn't quite exactly get it to do what I wanted to do, but you guys get the idea of what it is I'm really doing. And of course, I'm sure later on the internship's going to entail just doing a lot more than what I'm showing you guys here, but this is a big part of it. And this is like really enjoyable because it's kind of like it can bring out the artistic side of you, but at the same time, you have to make it so that it's presentable, nice and neat. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And so what I mean by that is, let's go ahead and I'm going to add another, let's see, what do I have here? What would be a good, let's see. I'm going to come back here. Let's go ahead and hit save. I'm going to come back to my, let's see, I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to go back to my sheet here. And I'm going to go back to hike names. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to, let's see, what can I do here? Let's just do, what's the highest, that's a good, yeah, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do one more widget for you guys. And then I'm going to kind of just talk about how my first demo went, like meaning like demoing like my first, I wouldn't say it was a completed dashboard, but it was like demoing a dashboard widgets that I had made and actually made with success. So let me go ahead and come back here to my dashboard, and I'm going to add another widget. This time I'm going to add a metric widget. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to add some data. I'm going to find my sheet. I'm going to go to my hike names, and I am going to find, now obviously if you had like thousands and thousands of rows, I would be creating what's called a metric sheet, to where I would do like a bunch of summarization and data aggregation, and I would be getting my data off of the summary sheets and off of the metric sheets to put onto my dashboard. But since there's not too much data on this, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this cell. And so right now, this doesn't look really presentable. So I prefer to have it stacked. And so I'm going to get rid of that. You can get rid of that. And then I'm going to put the highest non-technical. I'm going to say highest point attainable by day hike. Okay, so that's going to be by it. And so I'm going to fix that up. And obviously it doesn't need to be that big. And I'm going to increase the font size, because that's when you're using like metrics like that, you want to kind of make it really presentable. I'm going to scroll that down a little bit. And so ideally how I would do this is, if I'm doing like a bunch of like metrics like this, like single figures, I would put those at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this down. I'm going to move this over. Let's make that a little bigger. And since I'm not, I figure, this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to even it up, scroll down a little bit, and I'm going to put this over here. Okay, so let's kind of make it, let's have the background, let's have it be lighter green. I'm going to have the font be white, and I'm going to have that be, 16. And I'm going to make sure that's nice and centered. There we go. All right. Then I'm going to pull this back up a little bit. Oh. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Okay, so nothing too fancy here, but so pretty much I did my first demo day this past Friday, and it was a success. Oh yes, I mean, I spent several hours, trying to figure out how to put together these charts, and I was being like critiqued in positive ways. And the only suggestion I was given was to make sure I use what are called like dividers, like to kind of separate your chart so it doesn't look all cluttered. But for the most part, they were impressed, and they're like, even one of the other people on my team was like, "Yeah, that's a lot better than what I could have done my first week there." So that made me feel really good. And what's this? So pretty much like my manager was there, the senior manager was there, and then the other two people on the team was there, and so I had pretty much had to present them like what it is I was doing. So for instance, like let's say that I was doing my demo, I would be like, "Good morning, everyone. This is what I've been working on. So what I've got here is I've got the category by season, and and then I would be like, so the highest point that someone can reach in a day hike without really having to get a permit is 10,800 feet. And then here, what I've got here is a chart depicting the number of hikes that are recommended per season. So here you've got 7, 5, 11, and 7. So as you can see here, obviously the summer is going to have the greatest pickings of hikes, while the spring, obviously there's a lot more than 30 hikes. So this would obviously change if you had like all the hundreds or perhaps thousands of hikes there are in Washington State. So my demo went really well. Was I really nervous? No, not really that nervous. The only thing I was really nervous about was making sure that I presented my data in a clear, concise way, that I knew what I was doing. So like for instance, what I had to do is because like some of the charts I made were like to be viewed by a viewer's perspective, meaning like let's say that if I were to send this chart out to so what I would have to do here, let me go back to my sheet so this will make a little more sense. Okay, so let me go back to my hiking names. Let's say I'm going to add another column here, and I'm going to put let's say like you've got a guiding company, and the guiding company has 3 people that guide hikes, and I'm just going to put leader. I'm going to put I'm going to put guide. I'm just going to put guide. And then I'm going to hit OK. And so I forgot to do one thing here is I am going to put, edit column properties. I'm going to do a contact list. So contact list, I'm going to enter some names here. Let's just do my name. Okay. All right, we're just going to put my name. Let's do another. I'm just going to put Seth. I mean, all right. So I'm not going to go down the whole entire row, but so let's say you got that. Okay, enable. All right. Let's say you got. Did I put the? No. Okay, so it didn't add that. So I'm going to add a new name. Let's just put. I'm just going to put Seth. Okay. And okay, I've got to make up a fictitious email address. Let's see. Let's put. Seth, no, I don't want to do that because there's always a chance that you can actually put someone's real email address. So, okay, so like let's say that you've got like 2 other guides, and the 2 other guides have their own set of hikes. And let's say I was creating a chart to see like how many hikes are each guide responsible for. And of course, I would come back to my dashboard, and so let's just, for example. If we come back to my dashboard, let's just say that instead of the season, each of these was a guide. So like, let's say you had 4 guides. And so overall, let's say that guide 1 has 7 hikes. Guide 2 has 5. I have 11 hikes and the other guide has 7 hikes. But let's say you want to make it so the guide only sees the hikes that they're responsible for. So meaning like, let's say another guide clicks on the chart, but he only wants to see the number of hikes that he's responsible for. What I would have to come back here is I would come back to my report here, and I would filter my criteria, and obviously I would come back to guide, and then I would be has any of, and then I would have to hit current user, and that's exactly what I had to do when I was doing my demo, because there was a scenario where I want the chart to only be from the viewer's perspective, like how many sales did that particular sales rep have. So that's what I had to do is I had to click current user, and so then when I come back to my dashboard over here, so I come back to my dashboard over here, what I would do here is I edit it. So obviously you see here, so it changed a little bit, and so that's exactly what happens, because now I did something in my chart, but you get the idea. So what I'm going to do here is I go back to my chart, I edit, and so there's different. So there's wrong widget. This is the widget I want. Okay, so and there's another thing, widget behavior. So you can actually, what you can do is you can actually link where you got this data from to the actual sheet. So like I'm gonna say, so obviously I'm gonna open the smart sheet item that this data came from. So what I do is I click this, and it came from the hiking season. Click OK, and then viewer mode. Yes, the viewer mode. And so right now it's set to last widget editor. But for my demo, I actually had to hit this, their own perspective. That's what I click on that, hit save, and there you have it. Now, obviously, this is, I mean, it changed a little bit, but you guys get the idea. That's the steps I had to actually show the management, and they were like, "Yep, good job." So it's like, So okay, so you guys kind of get the idea. The product I'm working with, really exciting. It's a really cool product. I mean, it's like I said, it is like Tableau, Google Sheets, or Excel, and like project management software all combined into one. You can share it. I mean, there's just like a whole lot of features with this. So if I go back to my sheet here, like another video that I'm gonna probably make is like how this can be really useful for like project management. So I mean, it's like you can like make like a hierarchy, and so that's, I mean, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, but I mean there's just like a whole lot of things you can, I mean, I'm just only scratching like the bare surface of this, and I just kind of I figure it's like you guys wanted to get an update. Well, this is the update, just to kind of show you exactly what I'm working with, and it's fun stuff. I mean, it's like, so this is kind of where it's like, 8 hours a day doing this, and it's like, is this really even work? I mean, because here I am, you guys just saw like me fiddling around trying to get that chart to do what I wanted to do. I don't know how long I spent, but I mean, it's like, and it's, I mean, in what, 10, I mean, who knows how long it's been, but I mean, it's like, I'm like thinking, and this was like the night before my demo. It's like, okay, it's been an hour and a half, it's been 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Now, and all the jobs I've had in the past, and I, for one, do not like mundane tasks, like repetitive tasks. Like, for instance, I have to hand it to you guys out there, any of you out there, cashiers, freight handlers, stocking, I have to hand it to you guys who are able to just, withstand that repetitiveness, just like that constant repetitiveness, really no change. I mean, kudos to you, but it's just like, I just remember like my experience working as a seasonal cashier during the holiday season, and the clock is like right there. Every time you ring up an order, the clock's right there. It's like, oh, it's only been like a minute. I can't believe it's like 40 customers later. Oh, it's only been like 30 minutes. And it's like 30 minutes feels like 4 hours. I mean, it's just like the time just dragged on. And here's the thing. In these jobs, if I had an 8-hour shift, I would be like so, aversive to like not even wanting to do any physical activity the day before. I would have to make sure that I'm like well rested. I slept a lot the day before because I knew I was going to be on my feet the next day doing repetitive tasks, mundane, something that wasn't mentally stimulating, and I didn't want to be tired and dragging my butt, because that's the worst feeling when you do like a hard hike or a big event the day before, and then you're just like all groggy and fatigued the next day, and then you're doing something mundane and oh, I mean, it can be brutal. So kudos to you out there who, you know, don't let that phase you at all. But I mean, people like different things. I mean, there are people out there who would like hate being behind a computer for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I mean, it's just, and it's like interesting because actually, the day before my first day of my internship, I went on the longest hike I've. It may actually no. It was a second. I'm trying to think. And it was okay. Now it's interesting because it was the second longest hike I've ever been on of all time, but by only 2/10 of a mile. But the elevation gain. Now my longest hike of 27 miles, which I did back when I was like 20. I did it when I was 20, 26, yeah, 26 years of age. It was 27 miles and about 8,000 feet of elevation gain throughout. The day before my first day of my internship, I did 26.8 miles, 10,600 feet of elevation gain. And let me tell you, I was pretty fatigued the next day. And yep, it was the first day of my internship, but because I was so excited, I was so stoked, and I was just like mentally stimulated, but trying to figure out how to work this smart sheet product and like trying to figure out like what does what. I was like, I couldn't even be worried about fatigue. I was just like, it's like, I mean, just like the need to want to have a nap. It's just like, oh, I could put that off. I can put that off. It's like, and yeah, it's like I think I did like 10 and a half hours that first day. I mean, I only clocked myself for 8 hours pay wise, but I think I did like 10 and a half hours that first day. Yes, after doing a massive hike, something I would not even dream of doing if I was working one of these jobs I've typically had in the past. It's like, no way, Jose. And that's the other thing too, because I did that once. I did it back when it was 2019. I was working as a helper clerk, and I did 2 back-to-back hikes. Nothing too strenuous, but nonetheless, 2 back-to-back hikes. And then I had to get up early, like at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I was just like dragging my butt. And I remember one of my coworkers was like, "You can go home if you want." It's like, if you're not going to do anything, it's all right. You can go home. I mean, because I was just like, oh my gosh. But nope, I was just like, okay, I got to see if I can get this done. I want to see if I can get my badge, my knowledge badge. And so there you have it. So it's like, I can't say this enough. I mean, this does not feel like work. I mean, it just does not feel like work at all. It's not something I dread. It's not like, oh, I'm dreading punching in, punching out. It's like, and it's like, I wish a lot of people out there who have these types of jobs should really be appreciative. They should not take it for granted, because it's like you get to wear what you want to, pretty much, within reason. You don't have to be wearing a uniform. You don't have to wear a name tag. You don't have to be doing all this. There's no like 15-minute break after 2 hours. No limited to a 30-minute lunch. It's like I can do 3 hours, I can do an hour and a half lunch, I can do another 3, as long as I'm doing my meetings and making sure I'm not like slacking off, or as long as I'm contributing. And obviously, because I'm learning, there's not much I can really do right now, but obviously the more I learn, I'm probably going to have more meetings and going to be collaborating more with my team members. So as long as I'm not, missing out on any meetings. But when you're in a meeting, you're engaged because you're interacting with another person on your team, or maybe a stakeholder. So you've got that social interaction. So it's a healthy balance. That's what it is. It's a healthy balance of interacting with, maybe another stakeholder or a team member or your management. And then it's like your own time. You're doing your work on your own. Individual, you're on your own. You got your me time. So it's like a healthy balance, where it's like a lot of jobs out there, they're better suited for like a true extrovert. I think I'm more of an ambivert, probably more so introvert. I would say like ambivert, but leaning more towards the introvert side. Whereas a lot of the jobs I've had in the past are definitely more for the introvert. I mean, it's just like blah 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 blah. And the worst thing is having to try to like sell things or like be like, oh, can I interest you in this credit card, or would you like to get this checking card, or for like every single customer, and if you don't do it, you get like written up. No, this is like why people really need to really appreciate these, you know, good jobs like this where they have like freedom to be able to do the things they want to do. The pay is good, and they can, you know, when the weekend comes around or they get the free time, they can actually do things. They can eat well. They have the resources to do things with their friends. I mean, it's just like it's a whole different world. So I mean, this is like this internship right here is the biggest thing that's happened to me in my 47 years of existence. I mean, it's like if I had a job like this in my 20s, oh, I'm one. I get. I have no doubt I would be married by now. Yes, I mean I would be. Yeah, it's just like my confidence. Yeah, because my confidence would have been. Yeah, I mean it's like it goes back to this confidence thing. I mean it's like I was saying, some people find their confidence in being a shift lead, even though it may not pay well. But if you don't have a bunch of student loan debt, I mean some people find confidence in doing that. If you don't have much bills to pay, you might find your confidence in being someone that's like, I'm proud of working my labor job, you know, hauling lumber for 8-10 hours a day. I'm proud of it. Some people, you know, because it's physical activity. It's like, yeah, I can withstand. Or some people like, you know, roofing. I mean, roofing's a brutal job. It's got a high turnover rate. I didn't even last one. I tried out roofing when I was 16. How old was I when I tried roofing? Pretty young. I didn't even make it one day. Yeah, roofing, really high turnover rate. But some people, it's like it gives them that confidence boost. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like these jobs that I've had in the past. Yeah, some people find, you know, they suffice. But you know, pretty much like if I had a job like a job of this caliber, even like if I had a job of this caliber, having, you know, right after my master's degree, if I was able to have a job of this caliber after having my master's degree, I am almost certain I would have definitely had met my significant other in the hiking group. Oh yeah, bar none. Yes, if I had a and like I said, it goes back to this confidence thing because it's like you're productive, you know, you feel like you've got worth, you've got purpose, and when you get and yes, I've seen the management give compliments to the other team members. Yes, they compliment. And when you get compliments from your management, that's going to make you feel good. That's going to give you that confidence. And like, yes, I'm this and see, that's why I know there's some of you out there who are like trying to get me to like adopt this like ideology out there. And it's just like, why adopt this ideology that's not going to get you anywhere? It's just like, drop the ideology, you know, drop this pill stuff. There's no need to swallow a pill. It's just you got to go out there and do what's going to give you that confidence. You know, go out there and, you know, find something that's going to give you that confidence and just, you know, go after it. And so this internship, yes, it is the biggest thing that's happened in my 47 years of existence. Yep. So before I conclude, I just wanted to kind of show you guys another thing here. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but what I've got here is I've got the seat summary. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here because this will take another probably several minutes to kind of go into it. But seat summaries are just another way to kind of like aggregate your data. And then, so right now I'm not going to worry too much about it. But when I went to my report here, let's see if I go back to so like, let's say I create another report. So if I create another report here, obviously I can create one from a seat summary report, but I'm not going to worry about that. And I wish my GPS watch would stop beeping. But oh well, if you're wondering what that beeping is in the background, it's my GPS watch. I forgot to turn it off. Okay, so then the hiking season by ratings. All right, so this is one I made last night just to kind of do some extra practice. So let's see what happens Just out of curiosity, let's see if I go back to my dashboard. Let's just, for good measure, let's see what happens if I add. So I'm going to add a widget. I'm going to add a chart. I'm going to add my data, and this time I'm going to add by ratings. Let's just see what happens. I mean, why not? Okay. Okay, yeah, same thing. Okay. Well, that is an update on my internship. Yes, this is what I've been doing, creating dashboards, working with formulas, good stuff. So tomorrow begins week number 3. We'll see what happens. I'm going to be cleaning up the dashboard that I presented this past Friday, making it look more neat so that when I meet with my manager tomorrow afternoon, I can be like, yep, this is what I've done. This is what more I've done. I've cleaned it up a little bit. What can I work on next? What can I do? What else is there to do? So kind of show that ambition. So, yep, that's all for now, guys. I'm just going to leave you with that. So thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoy this update and you guys got an idea of what it is I'm doing, what I'm working with. So thank you for your continued support. Hope you guys had a good 4th if you're in a different country. Hope you had a good day wherever you're at. And yeah, I will see you guys soon enough. All right. Peace.